For joining us again. For more on the news and other programs, please visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can follow us on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. Also visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space the news. The National Assembly Elections Petition Tribunal sitting in Ilorin has upheld the Kwara Central Senatorial election that produced Bukola Saraki, senator representing the district. Presiding Judge Joshua Majabi says the petition of Rahman Abdulrazak of the People's Democratic Party has failed to prove his allegation of gross irregularities and thereby dismisses the petition in its entirety, thereby upholding the election of Bukola Saraki.
The tribunal raised its ruling on three main grounds. First, that the petition was filed outside 21 days. We are of the view, and we know from the evidence led, that the results were declared on the 29th of March. And so, but the tribunal says the results were declared 28th. But we know from the evidence led, even the fourth respondent, one of the respondent witness, gave evidence that elections were declared on the 29th. So we'll test that on appeal by the grace of God. Thirdly, the tribunal says that we could not prove substantial allegations of corrupt practices, substantial non-compliance. And we say, we are of the view that INEC guidelines is clear, and it is the duty of the tribunal to relay was the INEC guidelines complied with. It is not our duty.
The tribunal has delivered its judgment, the summary of which is that the petition is incompetent because it was filed out of the time statutorily prescribed for filing same. The tribunal didn't stop there. It also considered the case on the merits, and it found that all the allegations of commission of crimes that were made in the petition were not substantiated. In the same token, the tribunal found that all the allegations of non-compliance were not substantiated, and that the testimonies of the 4 witnesses called by the petitioners was not sufficient to prove the various allegations contained in the petition, and naturally it came to the conclusion to dismiss same.
Now, following the death of a farmer, Hakim Tijani, due to demolition of his oil palm farm and the need to give time for farmers to harvest crops on their various farmlands, the state government has ordered the immediate halt of all activities on the farmlands earmarked for the airport project. And this came after a meeting between the state government and concerned farmers, with the state also agreeing to pay compensation. Our correspondent Rashid has more on this report.
This is the demolished oil palm plantation that allegedly led to the death of Hakim Tijani, as narrated by Fabi Julius.
Yanni is one of my workers. He has been working with me for the past 7 years in the plantation. He's my worker. He called for me. I do pay him once in a year, and he collected at least 150,000, 200 from me yearly. So when he had the shock that the bulldozer started to bulldoze that farm, he collapsed.
The affected communities raised the issue of compensation before the commencement of demolition.
I said no compensation, even no negotiation, no information at all. No information that they are coming to me.
We don't know what we can derive from that airport, because this cocoa is what we have been using, and the government is deriving from it.
In an emotion-laced meeting with the governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, the governor says the state will pay compensation for the farmlands. He also directed that all clearing of land meant for the airport should stop immediately, until farmers finish harvesting their crops.
I've spoken with them, I've reassured them. Government will pay compensation. And some of them said they want to do the harvest up until December. I've agreed with that. That's not too much because there's no rush. There's no rush, there's no emergency. But you see, at the same time, we have to do what we have to do.
With the project now on hold and compensation still hanging, the dream of Ekiti having an airport of its own may take longer than expected. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday demanded an explanation on why $5 million released for a study on the lake chart was not captured in an environmental audit report. He made the demand shortly after receiving the report at the presidential villa in Abuja. Now, President Buhari also directed his query at the Auditor General of the Federation, Samuel Okura. Bringing details of that report subsequently. Now, former President Olusegun Obasanjo led a delegation of the Copenhagen Foundation for a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. The meeting centered around insurgency in the northeast and how to use the Colombian experience to tackle the security threat. The visiting team also included the former Colombian General Sergio Montilla. After the meeting, former President Obasanjo gave State House correspondents an insight into the closed-door session. The senator representing Kaduna, Shehu Sani, set on par to 3,400 women in the state under his skill acquisition program. The women were selected from Kaduna North, Kaduna South, and some communities and the Kaduna Central District. Now, flagging of the training at his campaign head office, Senator Sani Usman said he will be spending 2.5 million naira in each of the local government area. Now, this will take total expenditure in the empowerment program to 17.5 million naira for the first phase. The women had to acquire skills in soap making, knitting, tailoring, fishing, and perfuming, among others. We'll take another quick break. I'll be back with stories from outside Nigeria. Please stay with us.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth.
Whatever it is that will bring our military to the Supreme. I said to hell.
On Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody has the right in Nigeria,
where you are the judge.
Now, well, before we bring you stories from outside Nigeria, there was tension in Oshogbo, the Osun State capital. Students of the 4 state-owned tertiary institutions and the police clashed as the students took to the street, protesting the closure of their institutions. Now, the students had trooped out in large number to walk to the Osun State House of Assembly and the government secretariat, Barrett, to register their grievance as to why the lecturers and the government are yet to resolve the crisis, holding back the reopening of their schools.
In 1 month, students of 4 striking tertiary institutions in Osun State have embarked on a protest march. It clearly was no business as usual this time, as the police took a swap on the demonstrators by barricading the road leading to the State House of Assembly and dispersing the group with canisters of tear gas. The response from the force further stirred the protesters, leading to a fracas that lasted about an hour, causing traffic gridlock on the Oshobo-Bongon road.
You don't face Nigerian students. We are fighting for life. We are not with any ammunition. We are going there to assist our feelings for Ibesola. Look at what Ibesola is doing to us. Look at what Ibesola is doing. Is that a good government? Is that a good? Look what you last and see. Are they doing this to them? We have been at home for about 5 months, and we are going to look at it. It don't fail. Look at my head. It don't fail.
Calming the nerves of the students was the state's chief of staff, who assured the protesters of a quick resolve of their lecturers' demand, while promising the gathering the release of some of their members arrested.
Since the beginning of this struggle, you are aware of it. We were at the office of the Commissioner of Police on Saturday for a meeting which involved all the union presidents across the state-owned institution of Osun State. Now, I as the union president of Esauke, they have arrested my student. My colleague is here from Ere. They have arrested his own student as well. Yes. Alaji, you have jeopardized our interest as a father.
They arrested at this point. They arrested and humiliated our students.
The governor will never authorize anybody to harass students. Nobody will have authorized police to harass. They have been released. Gentlemen, let me say this. We need to work together to resolve this issue. We are with you. You may not understand this, but that's the truth. We are with you. We are with you. If we say they have not been paid their salary, the salary is intact. It's in the bank. Nobody is touching anybody's money. But what is the guarantee that if we release the money, they will resume? So what we are saying, resume and get your money. Get your money.
Lecturers of the 4 state-owned tertiary institutions have been on strike for about 9 months now, demanding for the full payment of their outstanding salaries, stoppage of the contributory pension scheme, and full payment of their migration and promotion allowances. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
For stories outside Nigeria, the president of the African Development Bank, Hakim Adesina, says the continent is not getting enough from the climate change funding, despite being the region that suffers most. Adesina, who stated this on the sideline of International Monetary Fund and World Bank annual meeting in Lima, Peru, said world leaders need to consider Africa in the process of spending $100 billion pledges towards fighting global warming by the year 2020. Additionally maintained that Africa is yet to get its fair share climate funds in spite of suffering most impact of the climate change. And finally, military helicopters crashed at a NATO base in the Afghan capital, Kabul, killing 5 coalition members and injuring 5 others. In a statement, the Resolute Support Mission says the helicopter crashed due to a non-hostile incident around 4:15 p.m. on Sunday at Camp Resolute Support in Kabul. The statement did not give the nationalities of those killed and injured, but they were all NATO personnel. However, Britain's Ministry of Defense said 2 Royal Air Force members were among those killed when the Puma Mk2 helicopter crashed while landing at the base where Afghan security forces had been trained. The Ministry of Defense also said a convoy of British military vehicles came under attack earlier on Sunday in a separate incident in the capital, but there were no fatalities. But that is a wrap on CoreTV News on that. Many thanks for watching. I'm Olajimoke Olatiju. Good evening.